Perfect.
All right, come on, Flem. It's left.
Perfect. Well, here we are, Baz. It's a little bit run down, but Hagley Park indoor nets just before they get a bit of a spruce up. Reminds me a little bit of south of Dunedin.
Nice intro. It does need a bit of a spruce up.
But this is a place where I learned a fair bit of cricket. Nets were up here. Our careers sort of followed a similar path. You would have had places like this where you trained and grew up. But it's interesting as we sit here now and in a way look back at some of the milestones, some of the challenges and some of the parallels, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose we're very different, obviously. Flemmer, you're a bit taller than I, a bit older and much more distinguished.
Fair points.
But we do have a fair amount of similarities in regards to our...
Embellish a tale, which you've done there.
Embellish a tale.
Things weren't always that easy in terms of cricket and opportunities, but the overriding aspect for me was fun, and that seems to be something that came through in your cricket. I'm probably a little bit more serious, a bit more calculating. You, on the other hand, a bit more flippant, a bit more adventurous, positive.
Yeah, you're probably a bit more measured, I'd say. Mine was sort of a little bit more brash or slightly cavalier at times, but I guess a lot of my kind of early cricket was played under you. So, you were naturally, as a captain does, had to be slightly more removed from the side, and so I saw you as quite a sort of serious kind of person. But then,
that's right.
What I thought you always had the ability to then, I guess, reach out to all the guys within the team, and I sort of tried to, when I had the opportunity to captain New Zealand, obviously I used you a lot as a mentor and someone that I could bounce a lot of ideas off, but also I took a lot of the early lessons that I had from you as captain. I tried to install some of those in my kind of captaincy set up as well.
It's a big journey when you first came into the side or around the group, you actually had bad knees, were potentially career threatening. You had the highlights, you had the
highlights were, at the time, like everyone had the highlights.
Not everyone.
You couldn't really highlight your hair. Plus you probably had some endorsement which meant you couldn't.
I think you're the only one with highlights, but anyway. The wicketkeeper, then to gun fielder, to just loving the game, the energy that you brought, and you took that into your captaincy as well. So we talk about measured. I found it quite energy sapping, whereas you grew in a way. Your cricket went at the latter part of your career with the captaincy to another level with performance, and that leadership really sat well with you.
I think it did, but there's a stark contrast there as well, I reckon, Flemo. One is that you got the job at a young age and you were in it for the long haul, so you had to be a little bit more, consumed by over a long period of time. For me, I knew that it was coming towards the back end of my career anyway. I knew that it was only going to be for a short time, so the saturating nature of it actually sat really comfortably with me, because I knew that it wasn't going to last a long period of time. I wouldn't recommend it for others, because I did think it was quite consuming, but yeah, I guess I was fortunate that it was only for a short period of time. I don't imagine that it was always beer and skittles in your captaincy regime over the sustained period that you had it.
Yeah, we had some challenges, but I go back to the fact that I was afforded that time, so I was able to learn and get to a point where I felt really comfortable, right to the point where without it, I felt I was only playing half a game, and that was sort of the chalice that I got given by having it for so long, but wouldn't change it for anything. The people that you share that leadership with, and the trials and tribulations that go with it, make it a great job. People talk about it's an honour to represent your country or captain your country, but it's just as much of an honour leading a group of people doing the same thing, and I know that was almost a mantra. You listen to some of the stuff, you didn't do anything that I told you or asked you to do, you did it your way, but one of the things that came through was believing in your people, which you did almost to a fault at times. You were that loyal, and you see a little bit now with Kane, that's still flowing through.
Yeah, and I think Kane's done it differently as well. Like what he's brought into that setup is probably a level of consistency and performance and probably behaviours too, to be fair. I think they're an easy group now to be able to look at and see that they're in the shadow of, well, not in the shadow, but they're built in the mould of Kane's personality, and I think that's why they've been so successful on the field. But that's natural, isn't it? So your team's always going to be an extension of your style of your captain, or your personality of your captain. I guess both our teams were that when we had the opportunity.
Yeah, and you must a sense of pride. Like I'm proud as a past player watching these guys play. You had a fair bit to do with these guys. Tim Southey, my last test was Tim's first test, and I remember that fondly when he came onto the scene. And now he's one of our greatest bowlers. So the pride in that, and a lot of these players, your contemporaries, played with them and helped them. So that pride will be very strong, I imagine, watching them play now.
Yeah, and I'm sure you feel it too, because you were a part of that, even though you weren't around. You were a part of it through, I guess, the position you held previously in our friendship meant that a lot of your information was actually passed on and filtered through. So definitely a huge amount of pride watching these guys, knowing that you had a little bit of an assistance in their careers early on, and hopefully you were able to free them up a little bit to be able to maybe just go up a little bit more. Obviously their careers have flourished immensely beyond that, but it's nice when you have had a little bit of a part to play in some of those guys' successes, and also be there for some of their failures as well. I guess that's why coaching, we both, you've been around the coaching scene now with Chennai for a long time and Melbourne Stars, whereas for me I'm new into the coaching stuff, and with Trinidad and also Kolkata.
Championship Trinidad side, which you usually say?
Unbeaten championship side, Flem. Never been done actually, but anyway.
What comp is that?
The Caribbean Premier League.
They've got a league, have they?
It's actually it's very similar to the Chicago Bulls run, the Trinidad one. Anyway, we digress. But I think the same characteristics and the same feelings that you get as a captain, you kind of end up getting as a coach, don't you think?
Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed being still involved with the game and sort of asking the best players in the world now to do things and watch the skills that have improved since my time. And I get a real kick out of that, having an influence there, and still be connected to the game at that level, which I find great. Staying relevant is important as the game evolves. So keep thinking about how you can help young players coming through, because the skill sets are going through the roof, which is great for the game itself. It's a good challenge as you sort of move forward. You enjoy coaching?
I do enjoy coaching.
You love the game still?
Yeah, I do love the game still, definitely. Do you?
Parts of it, not all of it.
Yeah, because you sort of, like, you've been involved in coaching, but you've been away from New Zealand cricket for a fair while.
Yep.
This is now your kind of first foray back into it with Spark Sport, commentary. How's that going?
Well, it's a work in progress as well. There's a few mistakes. It is good fun, and it's good fun being back in an environment where you're seeing the players and people you haven't seen for a long time, and the good feelings of what the sport is about, and the circus, the travelling circus, to be part of that. So that's been a nice feeling. Learning the ropes, going back to school, commentary is again another good challenge, which I like. But it's doing something that I do love the game. That the other parts, like the travel and the time away from home, and that aspect still is difficult with a family. But the game itself, I'm still very attached to.
Thinking about when you coached me at Chennai.
Oh, good Lord.
In the first training session.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the challenges you have as a coach and how it's different from when you were playing or when you're a captain. I remember that
doing
first
your
net
drills.
session.
Yeah.
Well, you said, what do you want? I said, I just want some underarms.
Yeah.
Just a couple of knock-ups, get my confidence going.
And what was that for?
You threw 2 underarms and you walked down and you said, I don't like this drill. I was like, it's my drill.
It was your one-handed drill thing?
Yeah, and what did you do? You turned around and you said, good point, it's your drill. Then you walked away, and I thought that was a good lesson from my point of view as I went into the coaching world as well, that it's like, I might have my beliefs about how the game should be played, but ultimately it's not about me bestowing those beliefs on someone else. It's a matter of working with those people to try and get them to understand their game and grow their games, and dealing with the confidence of players and how to find a way for them to get a performance rather than telling them to do this or telling them to do that. That's why I do like the challenge of coaching as well.
Yep, and the Kolkata Knight Riders, your first full season in the IPL, which is a different environment altogether. We both had, I guess, mixed results. You got a little bit closer than we did, but that's coming around again in a couple of months. So you'll be thinking about auction and players, and you like that side of things? You like the strategy?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the trade that you offered me of one of our players, I thought was a bit cheeky.
Yeah.
But that's all right. I've come to expect that.
Well, you are a gambler, so I thought if anyone's going to take it, you will.
I'm not stupid. I might be a gambler. But
Well, the tips that we've had over the last couple of weeks
that's fair.
suggest
That's fair. It's life.
be
isn't
looking
it?
for a small win, so I thought we'd start with that.
Anyway, but no, I am enjoying that stuff.
Mike Hessen will take it.
I am enjoying that stuff. I think the IPL I found was a really interesting experience this year because it was in the UAE, obviously, and we were both in bubbles. We were over there. No one really got to spend any time with any other teams at all because you had to stick to your own. And it was quite a unique tournament. Obviously, no crowds, and I found that it was more about trying to keep morale high within the group because you're going to be together for 3 months in that tight bubble.
Yeah, it was different, wasn't it?
Yeah, than it was anything else. So I guess the next challenge will hopefully be with the freer kind of IPL, and then test out the coaching ways there, I suppose.
Well, my next challenge, mate, is half an hour behind the mic for people to tears, so I've got to go and work on that. Good to chat.
Cheers, mate.
See you, buddy. See you soon.